Okay, so I am working on getting towards being able to leave my paid job and do just my business activities full time. Case in point, today I'm an armed bank protection officer, so I'm a security guard at a bank. I would stand there for 8 hours, opening the door for people, doing some different reports and things, answering people's questions, helping with the ATM outside, things like that. Call the central office, make sure there's no things like broken glass in the parking lot, little things like that. Well, so standing there, all of a sudden, this guy across the street, this homeless guy, starts messing around with these toy guns, and I'm armed in front of the bank, and he's across 4 lanes and a little island in the middle, but it's just like a little road, it's a little boulevard, and he starts aiming this toy gun at me. He just kept doing this stuff for like an hour. It seemed like 2 hours, but it's probably even less than an hour. It's just it's so stupid of a thing to do to point things that look like a gun at someone who's armed for work. Obviously, I don't do anything. There's other people passing by and they're not doing anything. It's just like regular homeless antics, but it's absurd and everything. I mean, there's all these types of psychological situations that homeless are in, but they kind of all aim at the banks. I swear, security guards, banks. It's all the choke points, like they'll aim at grocery store doors, places where people have things that they want. So I'm always right next to the door of the front of the bank, so it's a thing like that, and people see the little shiny badge and pistol. I can't wait to get my business all the way off the ground. JamesPolk.net has links to everything. It's Apex Sentinel Trust. We're buying GPUs for AI chatbots, for LLMs inside of HIPAA compliant Docker containers where you can put documents and chat with them and nothing goes anywhere. Your data or your client's data is all secure. So we're going to be setting that up as a go-to service. So you're going to keep your documents on a HIPAA compliant server and you'll transfer them over sideways into a new Docker container. It has the LLM that you choose, whichever system you want, and that's the AI setup. It's a simple dashboard, and you're going to chat with those documents. So, and when you're done, you delete the chatbot, but you first save a copy of your conversation and the metadata over in your server, and that will be an AWS server. We'll set it up right to the dashboard, so you'll only pay your regular server. It's like $90 maybe, or an Elastic server that gets as large as you need to. So however many documents you store there, it's a regular cost. Then you pay for AI tokens. So let's say 2,000 pages of a document for a month. You only chat with it a little bit. Other services you pay like $900. It'll be down around 300 for ours. Um, those are embedded into bigger platforms where law offices are paying large amounts of money for a lot of other types of work. So, I mean, that's a billing model that those other platforms utilize. Is they just charge a bigger client more money, and they don't do things like have a server and then have a separate set of GPUs that spin up and then delete actual chat session by session conversations and then save the information. It's just something I think will help more people to be able to use AI, LLM, large language models to get the benefit of whichever model they want to use without getting throttled. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to chat with a document on ChatGPT, you end up getting throttled using too much of the memory. There's different things like optical character recognition that'll use a lot of memory, especially if you're taking like pictures of a dark black screen, like a computer code editor. It's really helpful. If you're stuck, you just take a picture. It's better to copy it and paste it in. Um, but it's so nice just to take a picture of a screen and say, "Hey, OCR this please, and tell me what's wrong with my code." It tells you right away. Is that the other thing? Oh, you forgot a parentheses. It's always a parentheses or a semicolon or a colon or an apostrophe rather than a tick back. Those things are fun. But yeah, so I'm really happy about it. PraxisProfessional.com. I'm changing it a little bit. I'm kind of making the language a little softer. You know, I've been a little maybe harsh sounding in my criticality of liberal Christianity. I'm still not agreeing with it. It's just that I've decided to make my language a little more focused on the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod views that I have as a member of a Lutheran Church Missouri Synod congregation, and to focus a little more on how we are working on. I'm working on this. I have contractors. So when I say we, I'm always working with different people, but it's a small entity with subcontractors. So I am working on taking on some full-time employees and also coordinating more volunteers. We want to do paralegal work for pro bono attorneys. We're going to do that for sex trafficking attorneys. We want to use the AI chatbots, the LLMs, to chat with documents and do work that we do on a paid basis for attorneys for other cases. And then we do the same exact technology work and paralegal research and writing for pro bono cases. So it's really the same activity, and also for private investigators. But we are going to do some work paid, a good amount of work paid, and have a dashboard to let people do their own work because they already know what they need to ask, what they need to get pulled out of the documents that their clients have given them. We're going to have people manning that are technology based and also are paralegal trained, paralegally trained to do paralegal work. Our clients are attorneys, so I use the constructive language of saying we have people who contract with us to do work for our attorney clients who are trained to do paralegal work, and we do that on an outsourced contract basis. You know, rather than saying our paralegals. I'm not an attorney. I keep up my mandatory continuing legal education every year, but I just say I'm trained to do paralegal work. Describe what I do. So that is legal. It's constitutional. It's your First Amendment right to explain that you have paralegal training and experience and do contract paralegal work for attorney clients. So that's that. And then we also are going to be using a payment platform that we're building. There's a lot of compliance that goes along with the Web3 payment platform, compliance security, and just code review, constant iteration, and deployment. So it's going to be awesome, but it's going to be a way to pay people to do work and to subcontract, and a way that people are going to be able to extract value from their Bitcoin without selling it. So a lot of people want to hold on long term. I think Bitcoin is going to go up. You know, it's been kind of sticking around 100,000. I started buying Bitcoin when it was 23,000. That was nice right after FTX. I'm sorry for everybody who lost the money that they lost, but that's what got me into studying what crypto was. I started studying Solidity and JavaScript, and then I got into looking at Bitcoin and then all the different networks. What the difference was, and I've settled on using BitLayer, the LVM, because it's an EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine, but on BitLayer. So it's the layered virtual machine. That's what they call it. And it uses Bitcoin as gas. So it's really cool. Use Solidity, and then we're gonna do some off-network Web 2 elements of how we check um, the verification documents that people like government agents do bring things to Web3 platforms and they want to seize assets. And we're definitely making a way for them to do that. First off, we have to pull together our funding. So we're going to be buying GPUs for AI and Bitcoin mining machines and just adding to our Bitcoin mining pool. And then we're going to start our code planning I have about 150 articles written. They're all on jamespolk.net. There's two main links up at the top. It's going to be changing to apexsentinel.com. That's when it's going to hit the big time. But we're going to be looking for a CMO to help us do fractional, where we're going to have pay a fractional CMO to help us do the marketing for our private offering. So that's why I've been softening up the language of my dissent to the dissent from the original traditional conservative church views of, well, basically, most people didn't know a whole lot before the 70s of anything about the precursors to critical studies in religion, in Christianity specifically. I think, there's been criticality towards Christianity in general from outside of the Christian religion, uh, but really the historical critical hermeneutic, the way they look at the scripture, that undergirds most of systematic, progressive, liberal theology. And to me, I mean, one of the biggest telltale signs is that there's never been a tradition from within Judaism of there being um, different texts, different narratives, different scriptural bodies that were woven together during the Babylonian captivity by editors, by redactors. They call it redaction criticism, JEDP, the documentary hypothesis. Um, that's where rabbinic Judaism and the synagogue system really started to take off, because the Jewish people were not in the promised land and they didn't have the temple. So it was being a people of the book. And that is true, but that does not mean that these things were woven together, and that every time you see a different use and a different name for God, that's one grouping of literature from one time period that has one focus, another one, another one, another one. Um, it just would be a tradition. I firmly believe that. There's very, very few Jewish scholars who accept the historical critical hermeneutic, and I don't know why they do. There is just no proof for it. So I write about that because I believe that that's where the logic that leads to, okay, well, so this writing, this scripture means these different things, and are the rules really the rules? What did the serpent say? To Eve, did God really say not to eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? And we have liberal Christianity, critical scholars saying, are these rules really the rules? Yes! The lawgiver gave us laws and rules to follow, and this is why we have problems in society, because that's rejected. There's right and wrong, and it is revealed to us. And that's my firm faith belief. Lutheran Church Missouri Synod teaches that. So, it's a lot easier to just not think in circles by knowing that God gave us the rules. So, that's that. We're going to raise $900 million. That's the other thing. So, I'm not in a huge hurry. Maybe I should make a better film studio. I'm working on it. I'm a couple months into having filed my Form D notice with the SEC. So it's a for-profit business that is going to be supporting the nonprofit, doing the same work, doing AI-powered paralegal research for attorneys and private investigators. So that's it. That's all. That's all I have. I've probably said it 19 different ways, but that's my video, and I'm just glad not to be at my day job right now and to be working on a couple pages on the website. The front of praxisprofessional.com is changed up a little. I hope you like it. I know you all have been looking at it every day to see if it became different, but it's different today.